Assalamu alaikum everyone. Am I audible? Okay, perfect. Welcome to today's session. I'm Laiba Shamim, Associate Director of Guidance Department at IMIG. I'll be your host for today. We have today with us Dr. Maheen Adeeb, a graduate of SMC Batch 25, who she has successfully cleared Step 1 and Step 2 and is currently undertaking US clinical experience. She'll walk us through different types of USCEs, application process, and strategies to balance Step 1 and Step 2 with medical school. So let's welcome her.
Hello, hi. All right, so I'm going to turn my camera on. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Adeeb. Also, there's been a mistake, I guess. I'm a 2024 graduate, not 2025. Um, Anyway, so I got a couple of questions because I think that's my only introduction. I recently did my step 2, that was in December of last year, and I gave my step 1, which was in final year, and that was I think in September of 2023. Yeah. So that's how I went about my exams. I decided in 2023 that I wanted to pursue steps. I always knew I wanted to do it, but because of financial reasons, I couldn't pursue it before. So I'll tell you whatever I know, about steps, whatever little information that I have, because there's so much stuff out there on the internet that you can actually, look into. But I'll tell you the things that are, that I found helpful or important. Baki, you guys can look up on the internet, find various resources. There's Reddit. Reddit is full of information. You guys can, get a lot of stuff from there. All right. So Iman, she sent me a couple, a member of the society. She has a couple of questions that you guys had. So we're gonna go through them one by one. So a very basic thing that was asked was, what are the different types of US clinical experience? So basically, we have observerships, we have externships, we have electives. All right. So externship is kind of synonymous to electives. All right, which means that you have to do this before you graduate. So when do SMCs usually graduate? So technically, we had our final year in 2023, right? But we got our result, and by the time we got our degree, it was 2024. I think by April or May of 2024, we got our degree. So that's why we are considered graduates of 2024. Now, the thing is, anytime from the, for example, you got into med school in 2020 or something like that. From then, anytime to the time you get your degree, right? If you do any rotations in the US in between that time, that would be considered as an elective, right? Because you're allowed to do an elective. What's the difference between elective or an observership? In electives, you can basically, it's all hands-on, right? Which means you can touch the patient, you can do examination, whoever you are rotating with, they'll tell you how much you're allowed to do, but basically you are allowed to touch the patient and be in contact with them. Whereas when it comes to observerships, you're not allowed to do that, and observerships you do after once you have graduated, because I don't know if there's any law or something, but I think there is. But people international students who are graduates, they do observerships. Once they have graduated, they cannot do electives, right? And by graduated, I mean that once they've gotten their degrees, right? After that, they cannot do electives. But before that, they can do electives, which means that they can do they can gain hands-on experience. They can do all of that. Also, electives, they kind of have more value than observerships. So if you're doing elective during med school, that's amazing. That's great, because they weigh a lot more than observerships. But if you are, for whatever reason, you are unable to travel to just not do your electives, it's fine. I couldn't do it. So it's totally fine. You can do it later. A lot of people do it later. But yeah, so that was one of the things that was asked. Now the next thing is how do we actually decide which elective to go for? How do we get it? Do we have to pay for it? There were a lot of questions. Now the thing is, since I'm talking about my personal experience, the thing is that I'm not paying a single penny for it, right? That is because I have a sister here. So the only reason I'm not paying anything is because I have a sister, right? So who's already in that program, so it's easier for me. Now, the thing is that I'm talking for people who do not have any contacts, right? Who have no one in the US. Obviously, it might be a little difficult for you, but you guys will have to do extra research. For example, like even yesterday, someone posted, I don't know if you are on the Apna group or not, but if you are not, please join it. It's on Facebook. It's amazing. People keep posting like these random things, especially like yesterday, someone posted about some group, which I joined. And in that group, people were like, giving emails of the doctors who are taking you in for like free, or emails of the doctors who are, who are basically, like charging like $500 or $700, which is a lot better than paying like $3,000 or something that, is not affordable for a lot of people. Which group, please? Okay, I'll tell Iman the name of the group and she can basically share it with you guys. But I'll also name it. It's on Apna. It's called Madan Baji uh, uh, 2026 mentoring. So I think there is this person and she decided to mentor students, and there are already 1,025 people in that group. And like last night, I was going through the messages and everyone kind of was like sharing like different opportunities. There were PDFs that were shared. I'll send all of that stuff to Iman so that she can share it with you guys. But at the same time, just join that group. Try to, like be active about it. Just don't think that, oh, I'll be appearing in the match of 2027 or 2028. So till then, I don't really have to worry about anything. No, if you are like thinking about steps right now, it's important that you join these groups. It's important that you stay in contact with someone who's done it, who's doing it, who's into the system. Because we SMCs, we do not have a very strong alumni network. We don't. And this is like one of the cons of coming to SMC. Like, for example, if you talk about people from Dow, they have a very strong alumni network, right? To the point uh, that my sister, I remember because she's a Dow graduate. So what happened was that before she was applying, she was given a mentor. She was assigned a mentor and then the mentor like prepared her for the interviews, helped her through the path. So, like that makes a huge difference. So just try to find people like SMC alumni, contact them on LinkedIn, like contact them on Facebook, contact them on Instagram. If you're lucky, they'll reply. It doesn't hurt to like message or email. Like anytime I get a message from a student, I try my best to reply to them, because right now I'm like obviously free, I have nothing going on. But residents and physicians or like attendings, they have a lot going on, so it's okay if they don't reply, but if you are lucky, you might get a reply. So just like find a mentor um while you are like just figuring things out, because you will need someone, you will need that guidance from that one person who you can contact at any time of the day. I found that one person. That person, surprisingly, it wasn't my sister, but it was someone from SMC, and I would contact them all the time. I'd be like, tell me this, tell me this, tell me this. So just find that one person, be it a senior, be it your friend who's already in the system, like and attending in the US, be it anyone, just find them, they'll help you with that. Now the thing is that when we look for observerships, there's AMO, there's VSLO, Whislow, med clerkships. There are all these like places which can which take money to give you the observerships. I didn't go through that route because once again I couldn't afford to. But if you can, go for it. Then you can also look at, like, for example, if you look at Mayo Clinic or Cleveland Clinic, and I guess like also Oxford or Harvard. They not Oxford. Let's not talk about Oxford because that's not here. But like Harvard, right? They do have like free, I think, observership programs for international graduates, but it's very hard to get in. But I would say try. Not, it doesn't hurt to apply. It's fine, just apply. There are hospital websites. You can visit those websites that especially like places that especially are open or like friendly to IMGs. Visit those websites, go on their like observership pages, because they do have pages for that. And just like look at the requirements, require step 1 or step 2, see if they what are they looking for exactly. If they're offering like a free observership, if they're not offering that, figure it out, that whether you can afford to pay for that or not. Then um is there anything else that you guys want to ask me? They just ask me, it's fine. Unmute yourself and ask me a question before I move to anything else. Are we good? No questions? All right. So, just all I'm gonna say is stay active. And literally, like on that group, someone was telling that this doctor is like, offering observership for $500, or this doctor is offering observership for $600, and there are tele rotations as well. And they were discussing all of that. So, um, get in touch with your friends, And like especially people who have already done rotations, it doesn't hurt to ask them that, like, can you hook me up with someone? Most likely people from the same batch are not going to help you because they, can you please guide us a piece of MD in footsteps? Yes, I'll tell you about that. um and so most likely, like people are not going to help you from your own batch, because the thing that happens is that obviously they'd be applying with you, so they're not going to help you as much. So try to look for your seniors, people who have already, like for example, I think 3 people from our batch just got matched. So just try to contact them, see if they can help. I'll also, like, there was also one person who's telling me that, like, they'd be like making a group or something. If that happens, we'd like let you guys know. I can always like let Iman know about it. But yeah, what about the visa letter and how to get her visa? So now for the visa process, what happens is once you get an elective, you tell them that, I'll need a red letter so that I can apply for the visa. And then you get they'll give you the letter by themselves, right? Whichever organization, institute, hospital you are going to, doctor you are going to, they'll give you the letter themselves. Then you take that letter to the visa officer, you show them that letter, and that's how you get the visa. Till when we are considered an undergrad as a JSMU, so basically till you get the degree. Like a lot of us do, like a friend of mine, after she gave her like final year prof, that's when she went for electives, right? Because from the time she gave her exam to the time we got our degrees, so it was considered an elective, because the second you receive, right, you would be considered a graduate. For example, we got it in April of 2024, so before then it's considered an elective. When do we get the degree exactly? We got it around April of 2024. All right. Now, so what was I talking about? So, like just try to like talk to your seniors, especially people who have already, like who are already residents. I'm sure that they would love to help you, or like it doesn't hurt to ask. Trust me, it doesn't hurt to ask. It, like, I don't know, हमें लगता है that people are not gonna help, and sometimes they might not. I'm not gonna say, let's say if you're emailing 10 people, हो सकता है एक reply कर दे. So, like the odds are low, but like it doesn't hurt to ask. But then the next thing is someone asked me fee of step 1 and step 2. Now the thing with that is step 1, it costs roughly around like $1,300, right? And I'm just talking about like the exam for international students, and I'm talking about there's one more camera thingy, something that you have to do. So like compound, it's roughly around that, and for every exam, it's roughly around 1,200 to like $1,300 for international students. So step 1, step 2, step 3, and then um and then basically once I'm done like explaining this, then I'm gonna go to the question that's been sent by like Amna Kashif, I guess. So basically, so it roughly costs around like $1,100 to $1,200. It's a lot of money, I understand that. So like for people who cannot afford it, like because like I understand it's a lot of money. That is one reason why I didn't give my steps earlier, because I was like, oh, I don't have the money. How am I going to afford it? So, like the best way to go about is like find someone who's like help. Let's say if you're lucky, you might have a relative who's in the US. For them, it's nothing, right? They can always loan you the money. You can always say that I'll return it back, I'll do this. You can take loan from the bank as well, which I know is not like an option for a lot of people. But that's how you can go about it. Like see if there's a close friend and if they have money, or like if anyone's like willing to sponsor your journey, you could always say that, like I'll return that money back. And if they think that you are like, good enough, they'll help you, because trust me, that's how I did it. So it worked out for me. It might work out for you as well. But like for that, you'll have to like, figure it out on your own. For people who have the money, it's going to be easier for you. The entire journey is going to cost something around 50 to 60 lakhs. It's a lot of money. I get that, because like the exams, they're like $1,000 each. The fee for applying a loan is for like, it's around like $6,000, like the match process, like the programs, the visa sponsorship for Eras. So that's roughly around like $5,000 to $6,000. Um, then the exams combined, and like then you also have to pay for your observership. So like just keep in mind step 1, step 2, combined, along with Uber, that's going to cost you 10 lakhs. Then coming to the US, let's say if you don't have a relative over here, then you'd have to pay for your stay, you'd have to like pay for the hotel, you'd have to pay for all of that. That's roughly going to cost you around 20 lakhs. Then also for like the applying fee, then step 3, then OET. So that's also going to cost you like something around 20 to like 25 to like 30 lakhs. So just keep in mind the whole journey is going to be around 50 to 60 lakhs easily if you don't have anyone in the US. It was slightly easier for me because I'm staying at my sister's place. I don't have to pay for anything, for food, for transportation, for the rent of the place. I don't have to like worry about any of that, luckily. But so, just try to contact people who you know are in the US, like any relative. Trust me, if you tell them that you want to be a physician and like you want to work as a resident in the US, you are coming for your observerships, nice enough, they will help you. Be it like, your mother's friend or your father's friend, like, they'll help you out because that's how it works here. People are willing to help only if you know that, you are dedicated, and then obviously you have to like take care of their boundaries as well. बस ऐसा नहीं है कि बस मदद मांगते रहो. But yeah, anyway, so I told you about the journey. Um, Also with the visa situation कि जो भी चल रहा है, listen, even I don't know much about that because like Pakistan's been put on this list where Pakistan has to provide, I think, some documents in the next 60 days. So, if we're lucky enough, we probably wouldn't have like any banning, but like let's say if there is a ban, then you and I will be equally affected because I'm a visa requiring person. So I don't know if I'd be able to come here again. So we don't know about that. We cannot comment on that right now because we never know. ये पहले भी होता आया है, ये अब भी हो सकता है. So it's all very risky. So I can't really say anything about that. Baki, how to find seniors who are in these programs for mentorship? LinkedIn. I know थोड़ी ख्वारी होगी, but just go to LinkedIn. Like maybe open some person, then look at their friends, see like if there's any person in the US, go try to, like follow them, send them friend request or whatever. Then, like slide into their DMs. So it's a very classic like move that you have to do, but you have to do because there's no other way. What was your visa situation? My visa situation was that I am a visa requiring candidate. So I got my visit visa, I think last year, and I didn't get it on the basis like of a letter, a university or a clinic letter because I just said that I was visiting my sister. So it wasn't an issue for you, but you'll need a letter, and it would be good that if you have a university-based letter rather than a clinic-based letter because they prefer university letters over clinic letters, and it just becomes easier that they'll give you the visa. Also, like I don't know, like I see a lot of posts where people say that, oh, our visa got rejected, and oh, this happened, that happened, and then because once you go to the visa officer, just like I don't know, I know this is not a part of like the topic that we're supposed to be discussing, but like let's say if you don't have a visa, whenever you go to the visa office, take all your documents with you, like take everything with you, but just be sure that you're very confident, you're very well dressed, you look very nice. I know these things, no one's going to tell you this because they're like, oh, like that's not how it works. But honestly, that's how it works. Just be very well dressed, be confident, go to them, look in the eye, wave at them, say hi, be nice to them. And, and they're not even going to ask you questions because the thing is that they don't have time. So there are like queues, like there are these proper lines of people behind you, right? And the visa officers, they're not really interested in knowing like a very long story. Oh, because like I see these posts on like Apna where people are like literally writing their long conversations that they had with the visa officer. That, oh, I'm going for this. I'll be and this is the but then kya kiya? Like just don't do that. Tell them what you are doing, like and what you are planning to do. Show them that, like say it in a line. They'll ask you for the letter. They'll ask you for the proof. Give them the letter. They'll ask you like maybe one or two questions, and that's it. कोई कहानियां सुनाने की जरूरत नहीं है because they do not care. And if you are going to tell them stories, then they'll think that, oh, there's something wrong with this person. So just be very brief, practice it with your friends, write your answers down like एक दो line के, कोई लंबी कहानी करने की जरूरत नहीं है because trust me, no one's interested in knowing any of that. और जो लोग बहुत लंबी कहानियां करते हैं, they get trapped and they don't get the visa. Because I remember I said one line and they won't, like they didn't say anything after that. They gave me the thing. So just be very careful about that. If we have relatives in the US, then how much will it cost, like just for registration of the steps apart from food and transportation? So registration of the steps, it's gonna cost you the same because obviously you're gonna probably you'll take the exams here. So like exams are going to cost you the same. So step one plus a step two, I think that's 10 lakhs plus the cost of the U world. Then the travel to the US is gonna cost you alone, like let's say if you're coming for like 3 months or 4 months, it might cost you something from around like 15 to 20 to 25 lakhs, depending on like which place you're going, how much you're willing to spend. It costed me only the ticket, which was I think the ticket was around 3.5. That was it for me because I didn't have to worry about anything else. So if you're going to a relative, you might not have to worry about the food and the transportation. Oh no, you might have to worry about the transportation because probably they won't take care of that. But the travel, the staying expense is a lot because here in the US, like let's say even if you are sharing an apartment with someone for like a month, that might cost you something around 7 to 800 or 600 if you are lucky. But if you are not, then it's going to cost you like a hefty amount. So somewhere from $1,000 to like $1,200. Or if you are going to a big city, it's going to cost you more. If you're going in a month when there are like more student, more when there's more student influx in the country. For example, if more students tend to travel more in June and July, so the cost of everything kind of goes up. So it's going to cost you even more. So just be like, just keep all these factors in your mind. So step one, step two, plus you were 10 lakhs coming to the US cost, like if it's only the ticket, it's like it costed me, I think roughly around like I think $1,000 or 1,050. That's it. But it might vary. The prices go up depending on season you are traveling. Because I was traveling in Feb में कोई भी नहीं आता, so it was easier for me. Like if you're coming here in December or January, or like let's say if you're coming in like June, July, the prices of tickets they might go up from like 1,200, 1,400, 1,500, $1,600. So just keep all these factors in mind. Rotating under different doctors of same institute better. Rotating under different doctors of different institutes is definitely better because like when you go to different institutes, you are basically kind of going to different places in the country, right? Which means that you are not showing affiliation to one specific institute, which is a good thing because then when you apply and they look at your LOR, they'd be like, oh, this person is not tied to a specific area. For me, it would be bad, right? It might look bad on my CV that, oh, I'm only in one place. That means that I am restricted to this area. So they might not give me an interview. So it's better if you go to different places, but if you cannot for whatever reason, that's fine. Just come here, get the experience. It would like it that too is fine. तो अगर कोई आपको कहता है ना, oh, this would look bad, or oh, that would, ये दिमाग करो कि कोई चीज एक बहुत बुरी लगेगी. Something is better than nothing. सही है. तो एक जगह जाओ, try to rotate with a good doctor, get the LOR. Also, one more thing. When you're rotating with a doctor, it's not necessary that you'll get the LOR. So you just have to be like on top of everything. You have to be like so smart. So the doctor I'm rotating with, right? He's an oncologist. So now every day in the morning for 3 hours, I study before I see him because he asked me like random criteria. He asked me like all these questions, and I try to stay on top of everything. So before you go to a place, don't go okay, oh, मुझे LOR मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. If you are good, they are gonna give you the LOR. But if you're not, they might not. Some people like they charge you like $1,000, $2,000, and in the end they say, oh, we didn't like you. We're not gonna give you the LOR, and you cannot get the LOR from them because like like कुछ ये फर्ज नहीं होता कि उनको LOR देना है. So just be on top of everything when you go for electives. Be punctual. Be like just dress nicely, look nice, try to talk to as many people as possible, just be humble, just like just put yourself out, study, 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 study. Like for example, if you're going to like a heme specialist, just ratify FA before you are going. Just know all the drugs, know their mechanism, because the doctor can ask you anything. If he tells you anything new, memorize that same day so that the next day if he asks you, you do not stutter. So make sure on top of everything, and then just ask them if they have any interesting cases, if you can write any case report with them, if they want to take you on any research project. If they like you, they are going to offer that to you by themselves, right? वो खुद कहेंगे, oh, I have this case, are you interested? If they like you. So just try to stay on top of each other, on top of everything. Can resident doctors in the US help us secure an elective? Yes. Like for example, if that resident is like your cousin, they could be like, you cannot like rotate with them, but yes, they can talk to their attendings, and if the hospital allows it, then yes, they can. So like if you know someone who's a resident, you can ask them and request them very nicely that, listen, I would like to rotate in your hospital, blah, 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 blah. See if there's an attending who's willing to take up students. And also because after COVID, what happened was a lot of restrictions. They said that, no, we cannot take up students. We do not want students. So there are a lot of hospitals that do not offer observerships, but there are certain hospitals that do. So try to find those hospitals, go on their website, see if they are allowing like foreign students to come for observerships, talk to your relatives, talk to friends, go on, try to make connections. Even if you are early on in the journey, you are in second year, third year of med school, still try because like, you know, because like अगर आखिर के लिए चीजें रखोगे आखिर में it gets like so messy. Trust me, it gets very messy. Is there anything out on? I'm looking at questions. Also, मैं उतना बता रही हूँ जितना मुझे पता है. If you guys have any questions, if there's anything जिसके बारे में मैं सही से बात नहीं कर रही हूँ, मुझे बता दो ताकि I reply to like how do you get research position. So for research position, I don't know that either. That's a good question, and I honestly don't know. So I'm not going to comment on that. Like normally, research positions उन लोगों को मिलती हैं who are like very active with research, like in the initial schools of med school. So you know that they are able to develop a portfolio. They have good number of researchers. So what happens is like, for example, अभी match हुआ है, right? तो a lot of people जो कि पोस्ट डॉक फेलोशिप कर रहे होंगे उन सब ने अपनी छोड़ दी होंगी पोजीशन, so वो पोजीशन अभी एम्प्टी होंगी, right? So that's how you get it. So if you have like postdoc fellowship programs होते हैं बहुत सारे, so you can contact them. They conduct interviews sometime around December, I guess December, November, January. ये months होते हैं when they conduct interviews, when they shortlist candidates. But to be like very honest, I really do not know like research positions कैसे मिलती हैं. But like जो भी मैं जिनको जानती हूँ, there is a guy from our batch. I think his name is Mustafa Rashid. He is postdoc fellowship, and I think he has like 20, 30 plus researchers. So if you have that sort of experience, you might get it, but it's still very hard to get it. But that is why it's like it's recommended that you start doing researches early on during med school. हम बहुत times आया करते हैं और हम नहीं करते हैं, but that's why it's recommended. लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि if someone has like 5 researches, they might not get it. You can try, you can see, you can always try. People are going to tell you that you cannot do this, you cannot do that. आपने अपने लिए रास्ते बनाने. No one's gonna make the way for you. So just try. Find the people who are doing postdoc fellowship. अपना पे जाओ, type postdoc fellowship on like just search bar आता है. They're gonna be the posts are gonna show up. You can read like which hospitals are there जहाँ किसी at some point maybe offer हुई थी कोई position, or which doctors are doing it. Things are gonna show up. So go on the doctor's profile, look at where they're working, which program was it, and then you can apply
Dr.
to that
Maheen,
programs.
sorry to interrupt in between. Actually, this meeting is going to end,
Okay.
so we'll have to join a new meeting.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Maheen. This is Iman here.
Hello, hi Iman.
Hi, this is going really well. I think बहुत सारे सवाल अभी भी हैं, but let's see. बाकी मेन आई थिंक एक ये क्वेश्चंस हैं कि वीजा के लिए जैसे कब अप्लाई करना स्टार्ट करें अगर
यार
जो
वीजा के
प्रॉपर
लिए
चैनल
आई
के
वुड
थ्रू
मुझे अभी देखो द थिंग इज कि लास्ट ईयर तो इट वाज इजियर टू गेट वीजा because last year, the year before that, they were giving the visa very like आराम से. तो
हम्म
उस वजह से majority of people they already got it then. Now the thing is because of the whole situation that's been going on, like it's better to apply because even if they apply right now, they'll probably get the interview after like a couple of months. For example, अगर आप अभी apply करते हो तो आपको interview foreign से नहीं मिलता, आपको interview 6 महीने के बाद का मिलता है या 4-5 महीने के बाद का मिलता है. So it's better to
हम्म
apply, get the interview, and hopefully if Pakistan isn't banned till then you'd be good to go. But like it's just better to apply for an हमेशा because वैसे भी नहीं मिलता. You'll get
सही
it like
सही
4 महीने के बाद का. What should your CV look like when applying for USCE and how early should you start applying? Honestly, I'm not even gonna like exaggerate, but some doctors don't really care what your CV is like, to be very honest, because like especially the one क्योंकि उनको क्या ही फर्क पड़ेगा if you have something on your CV or if you don't. I know like a couple of people like उनको मतलब like I know like someone specifically like they don't like when they see someone's email के वो CV खोल देखते हैं. And I think that's the case with majority of people, because like like उन मतलब जो पैसे ले रहे होंगे especially, that they don't really care that if you have a certain thing on your CV or if you don't have that thing. But it's good if you have a good CV. यूनिवर्सिटी में भी मतलब like आप स्टेप 1 तो दे दो एटलीस्ट अपनी सीवी के लिए, because it's important. Like वो आपको like बेहतर ट्रीट करेंगे if they know that you have given step 1 or step 2 at least. Or step 1 एक चीज दे दो, because then they would know that this person is like at least like has like orientation of how things are supposed to be. Baki to, how good are these agencies like Brooklyn to get? Brooklyn, what's Brooklyn? Is it an agency? Because they're also like scammers. So just like if you don't know कि, oh, if anyone has gone through that route, make a post on अपना, people will tell you if someone's done it through that route and they'll help you कि अच्छा, या फिर अगर किसी को जानते हो जो already उसके थ्रू गया है then apply, लेकिन randomly इधर उधर पैसे फेंकने की please कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. There are free opportunities, you just have to be like vigilant about that. uh, अपना के ग्रुप पे भी पोस्ट कर दिया करो, क्या पता वहां से कुछ मिल जाए, वहां से नहीं मिले तो जो ग्रुप्स हैं उनको ज्वाइन करो, क्या पता छोटी सी फी है. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल देयर इज ह्यूस्टन में देयर इज अ डॉक्टर इमरान. He takes like $500 and he rotate with him for a month. So that's, I think, a fair amount of money. It's not like 4,000 or $3,000 आप दे रहे हैं. But so or hospitals, a lot of hospitals that take you like agar also like if you're going for a hospital based rotation and if your CV is good, then the chances of you getting in वो बढ़ जाते हैं significantly, because the hospital's gonna be like, oh, this person's kind of on top of everything. They have everything done, so they might take you. So if you have a good CV, you can all like contact. I mean, people who don't have a good CV, मैं ये नहीं कह रही कि do not contact hospitals for free observerships. Contact them. Do everything that you can. I have a friend who basically she would email 100 hospitals every day, and now she has observerships and they're free and they're from like really big programs. I'm not gonna name her or their programs, but they are like huge programs, and she got free observerships. But that was also because like one of the reasons is also because she has like a lot of researches. So that being said, just email. She 100 email अगर कर रहा है programs को, तो वो बंदा मेहनत कर रहा है. So if you're gonna work hard enough, you'll find a program. Hi, can I get a cost estimate for the whole USMLE journey? I just told you it's something around 50 to 60 lakhs. 10 lakhs for the first step 1, step 2, roughly 25 to 30 lakhs for like the 25 eras and everything, and then the cost of the US travel. So something around like 50 to 60 lakhs for like in total. Acha ji, ab let's talk about step 1 and step 2, because I think that is important. I don't know how many of you have taken it already or not taken it, but I'll like
So,
just
Maheen, ये भी questions about
yeah.
non-BSL university elective options.
Sorry.
Non-BSL university elective options. If you can see, मैंने screen share किए ना, तो इस पे
Yeah.
कुछ questions हैं about these 3 and 4 वाला आप देख लो अगर, ये भी काफी
3 and 4 non-VSL university elective options. How can non-VSL university student apply for primary university hospital instead of community hospital without the aid of expensive agencies? That's what I talked about. I think Iman was talking to me. I don't know who was talking to me. मैं वही बता रही हूँ कि देखो, ऑन VSLO हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी नहीं है, ठीक है. सो लाइक हम लोग VSLO के थ्रू अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते. So now for that, what you can do is that you can look up on LinkedIn, go to Apna, join the multiple groups जहाँ पे ये हो जाती हैं, and try to like, I'll also share the list of hospitals that offers like the list of hospitals जहाँ पे जो है uh, like without like a fee, they give you observerships. I'll send it to like Iman, I guess. तो ईमान might share with you guys जो भी मेरे पास कल रात को चीजें आ रही थी, क्योंकि कल रात को उस ग्रुप में बहुत चीजें आई थी. So I'll share all those things and I'm also going to tell the name of the group. इस तरह के multiple groups हैं, ठीक है. So just join those. Just be active about it. That's all I'm saying. There's nothing specific that you can do. You can go to Harvard की website, see if they are offering, because they do offer observerships to international students, I guess. So just go on their website, go to Mayo Clinic की website, go to all these websites, just search, because बैठे हुए आपको कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा. बैठे हुए से वो लोगों को मिलता है जिनके ऑलरेडी कॉन्टैक्ट्स होते हैं. इफ यू डू नॉट हैव एनी कॉन्टैक्ट्स, प्लीज हाथ पैर मारो, थोड़े चलाओ. How can we approach to programs for free observerships? Universities की website पे लिखा हुआ होता है if they're going to charge you a fee or not. Just go to their websites. Community जो जिस भी आप वेबसाइट पे जा रहे हो उनको चेक करो कि रिक्वायरमेंट्स क्या है. If they are charging a fee or not. If they're not charging, then just email them. अगर आप किसी अटेंडिंग को जानते हो, लिंक्डइन पे देखो इतने अटेंडिंग्स होते हैं जो पोस्ट कर रहे होते हैं. हाउ डू यू कोल्ड ईमेल? कोल्ड ईमेल आप इस तरह करते हो कि आप बेसिकली पहले तो सारे हॉस्पिटल्स जो कि ऑब्जर्वरशिप्स प्रोवाइड करते हैं आप उनकी email addresses ले लेते हो and then you sit like and you just email them and you go through their requirements on their websites, you see their requirements, you email them. You have like one email, but like obviously you change it slightly depending to who you're sending it to, and then make a nice resume, send them, tell them that, oh, I have done a step one, step two, I've done this, please take me in, I'd be interested to relate with you, and blah blah blah. And if they are like not charging anything, they might take you. What's an ideal CV that will lend a good observership? That's what I'm saying. A lot of doctors don't even look at your CV, but it's good if you have given a step one and step two, and if you have research. Just because if you have the chances of you getting a hospital-based observership or elective, वो बढ़ जाते हैं, ठीक है? But if you haven't done any of that, that again is fine, because sometimes doctors they don't really look at your CVs, but a lot of them do. ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं देखते. They are gonna look at your CV. So just make sure that you have your step one and step two cleared. If the program has a requirement, okay, oh, we only take students who are done with the step one, then make sure that before applying you are done with your step one. If the program has requirements, oh, we only take people with step one, step two. So that's what I'm saying. Just open university की websites, do your research, अपना पे जाओ, Reddit पे there are like बहुत सारे पोस्ट के ओ ऑब्जर्वरशिप्स फॉर इंटरनेशनल ग्रेजुएट्स. वहां पे कमेंट्स में जाओ, टेक आउट दोस प्रोग्राम्स की लिस्ट, ईमेल, गो टू द प्रोग्राम की वेबसाइट पे जाओगे तो ऑब्वियसली देयर इज गोना बी लाइक एक रिक्वायरमेंट वाला सेक्शन. यू कैन ओपन दैट अप, सी द रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऑफ दैट प्रोग्राम. देयर माइट बी लाइक एन ईमेल गिवन ऑफ द ऑब्जर्वरशिप कोऑर्डिनेटर और समथिंग लाइक दैट. यू कैन ईमेल दैट पर्सन. यू कैन गो ऑन लिंक्डइन पे जाओ, डॉक्टर्स को ढूंढो, graduates of SMC who are attending there. You can always contact them, even if they're not graduates of SMC. King Edward है, Dow Medical है, उनकी graduates को email करो, request करो कि hey, I would love to rotate with you. If they have their researches, like LinkedIn पे तो उनकी researches भी होंगी, just say something like, oh, I'm interested in this research of yours and I really like blah blah blah. And maybe agar tumhari bhi koi research hai, you can always make a connection and be like, I'd love to work with you and see you, and like see you during the clinics or whatever. Just make a nice email. There's chat GPT. Run your email through chat GPT. It's gonna fix the English. Do not send wrong emails with wrong English to anyone, because then the chances of you not getting in, they increase. um How's your experience working in the US? What is your day-to-day work in the hospital clinic, like history taking examinations or something else maybe? I'm doing observership, so I'm not allowed to do examinations, but my attending is very nice. So he lets me take histories, he lets me do chemo education, he lets me do a lot of things that otherwise doctors wouldn't let you do unless you are really good. So just that's what I said, that, like if you go for observerships, like top of everything, study everything before you're going to the clinic. You would be sometimes it happens that, let's say if you're rotating with a hospitalist, you might be asked to stay in the hospital for a couple of hours, 3 to 4 hours. Some doctors, they want you there during the entire shift. So for example, like they might ask you to stay for like 10 hours, something like that. So whatever amount of time you are there, just make sure that you are nice to people. Just make sure that you are very, very well kept. Just make sure you're on top of everything. Just make sure that you're talking to the nurses, you're talking to the receptionists, you're just nice to everyone, treat everyone. Also, once you come here, you will realize you'll have like a huge cultural shock, because they talk, the way they keep, like the way they carry themselves is very different than how we do things in Pakistan. So it's going to be hard for you the first 2 weeks, or maybe rona bhi aayega, mujhe bhi bahut aaya tha, but it will get better. Eventually it will get better. You'll learn their ways, you'll pick up their language, you will understand their accent. It's going to get better. Can you guide about the USMD pathway and routine? So basically, नो, med school की GPA इतनी मैटर नहीं करती है, but try to have like a good GPA. I don't know, maybe, but it no one looks at your med school GPA, I guess. Like no one really cares about that. अच्छा जी, अब step one or step two, coming to that, I decided to do my step one when in I think fifth year. Yeah, it was in fifth year, and that was in March when I decided that, oh, I need to take the exam. So how did I study about that? how I study for that was basically for 1 month I did FA. तो जिन लोगों ने step 1 नहीं दिया हुआ, मैं उनको लिए जल्दी जल्दी बता रही हूँ कि 1 महीने में मैंने क्या किया. मैंने एक quick review किया FA का. I went through the entire book in a month. That was basically उसमें मैंने क्या किया था कि I went through the topics, क्योंकि majority by final year, so I had like a good idea of like a lot of things, right? But let's say if you're in third year or second year or something like that, it's just good, go through that book. If you do not understand the topic, there are BNB videos, there are like sketchy videos, there are like so pathoma videos for patho to pathoma. I'll say it 100 times, to pathoma. That book is gonna be, just read it like it's your, like it's your holy book or like it's Bible or whatever, but just read that book like that because it's very essential. For micro, I use the sketchy. I'll say it 100 times. For pharma, I use the sketchy. Amazing videos, amazing content. Just read that book like, मतलब आपको रटी भी होनी चाहिए. These are the two main resources that I used along with FA. I didn't do BNB इतनी ज़्यादा because BNB में बहुत सब कुछ होता है और मुझे पता है कि मतलब files like the videos are long, they're so slow. Even अगर आप speed बढ़ा दो, so it's like so long कि मेरा attention span नहीं था. So what I would do is that, for example, अगर मुझे कोई topic समझ नहीं आ रहा, छोटा सा topic है, celiac disease है, let's say, I know मतलब celiac disease है, I would type celiac disease on YouTube. बहुत सारी videos आ जाती थी छोटी छोटी. So I just watch like a 2-3 minutes की video. That's it. Read the book. खत्म. So the first month of studying, I only went through my book, understood what was written. I didn't try to memorize anything. I would like read the topic. मुझे आता था. I would move forward. मुझे नहीं आता था. मैं छोटी सी 2-3 मिनट की इस पे video देख लेती थी. I would move on to the art. This is like I a senior of mine told me this method of studying, and I think it really helped me a lot because it saved a lot of my time. मतलब मेरे साथ वो लोग थे जो कि 3rd or 4th year से पढ़ रहे थे steps का, because they went through all these big resources like BNB वगैरह. I'm not saying BNB is not a good resource. If it works for you, it works for you. But it didn't work for me because I knew I didn't have that much time. So what really worked for me was like all these small short videos on YouTube. Just go type the topic, a video is going to show up, you know, just do that video topic from the book, move on to the next topic. Read it, understand it, move on to the next topic. Don't sit on it for too long कि oh मुझे याद करना है. नहीं होगा याद, it's not humanly possible. Once you do that, once I got done with my book, after a month of doing that, then I bought my U-World. मैंने इस तरह किया था कि I would like, मैंने U-World में the best way to go about is like for the first 20 to 25% of U-World, try to do system questions. For example, like let's say it's cardio or it's endo. तो endo के थोड़े से questions कर लो system wise कि सिर्फ आप endo के questions ही कर रहे हो. Or फिर once you are done with like all the modules इस तरह, then like do like mixed UWorld, like system wise UWorld. Then you don't have to do system wise UWorld. Then you can do like random UWorld कि आपने सारे blocks एक साथ बना लिए. Because like the first 20% 30% I did system wise सारे systems के थोड़े थोड़े, किसी के 50 सवाल कर लिए, किसी के 60 कर लिए, just to have a basic understanding. And then once I was done with that, once I was done with all the modules, I kind of mixed all the questions together and I started doing random UWorld. So I did that for I think 3 months. That's when I finished my U World. और मैं university में ही पढ़ती थी, सब कुछ पढ़ती थी. So I think it took me 3 months. Then after that, take your NBMEs. NBMEs are very important, like very, 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 very important. Once you are done with like, let's say you are done with your FAQ, you are done with like U World, like the first, like once you think that, oh, I'm somewhere, like I know something and you just want to test your knowledge, take an NBME, see how you perform in that NBME, see your scores in that NBME. NBMEs करो, NBME देखो कि अच्छा मेरा इतना स्कोर आया, then just go back to your FA, go back to your U World, study properly, जो भी चीजें lack कर रही हैं. And then just keep doing NBMEs, like 15 दिन के उससे रख लो कि oh, I'll do like one NBME a week or one NBME every 2 weeks, but do NBMEs. Exam बहुत मुश्किल आ रहा है. And there's no way you can do it without NBMEs, because yes, your word is very important. It's going to help you with your concepts, but like you have to do at least a couple of NBMEs to understand the type of questions that might show up, because a lot of questions that like इस तरह के random चीजें आ रही होती हैं NBME में जो U world में नहीं होती, जैसे U world में बहुत सी चीजें इसमें नहीं होती. So just to have like a good grasp of everything, do both. सही है. So फिर NBMEs किए थे मैंने. I gave my step 1 resources मैंने बता दी, sketchy, micro, pathoma, and sketchy for pharma, and I don't think I used anything else. बाकी for biostats, Randy Neal, write this name. You can use this. Also, there's this other boy as well. He has a YouTube channel. I'll share the link with Iman, and she can share it with you guys. It's really good. मैंने तो वहां से भी किया था biostat, and what else is there? कुछ और है. Pharma, do it from BNB. Pharma का एक section है in FA की किताब. So do that pharma section from BNB, because otherwise it would be slightly difficult for you if you do it on your own. एक वो चीज BNB से देख लेना. And secondly, BNB से वो कर लेना, CVS की फिजियो, कार्डियो की फिजियो, ECGs, all of that. Just ये दो चीजें जो BNB से करने की जरूरत है. Other than that, you guys can use like osmosis, like all these short resources जो कि YouTube में, क्योंकि back in the day the reason BNB was so important was because it was the only resource out there. Just shorter clips that are less time consuming, and they're gonna make you like, they're gonna help you like so much more, because easier to watch, shorter concepts, you will understand this. That's it. So step 1 ke liye, that's what I did. Step 2 ke liye, the issue is that there is no book. There is like no book as per se. A lot of people, they use like, I think Birds and Beyond. No, they use that's BNB. They use this other book. I don't know what's the name of that book. A lot of people use that. A lot of people use like so many other things. I didn't use anything, and I think that saved me, because it's per step 2. I think I studied for like 5 months. तो step 2 मैंने final year के बाद दिया. पहले शुरू में I wasn't really studying. After like July, I was like in June I was like, oh, I need to study. So I started studying, and I gave my exam in December. I think 5-6 महीने थे जिसमें मैंने 2-3 महीने focus studying किया. बाकी I was just like doing. So इसमें step 2 में तो ये था कि you just do UWorld. Like the first 3-4 months you just do UWorld, do 100% of UWorlds, and once you are done with that, then you have CMS forms. CMS forms जो है एक website है MedZone के नाम से, उस पे आपको मिलेंगे. So you just type like go on Google, forms MedZone, blah blah blah. For step 2, वो website आएगी, उस पे जाओ. There are all these farms. For example, internal medicine के कोई 7-8 farms हैं, family medicine के कोई 5-6 farms, 4 farms हैं, I guess. Emergency medicine के इतने farms. So उस website पे there are all these free farms that are available. Just start doing those farms. So basically, the first 3-4 months of my step 2, I did only UWorld. But after that, I didn't touch my UWorld again. Once I was sure that, oh, I've developed all the concepts, I didn't touch my UWorld again. After that, and alhamdulillah, like the reason I'm saying all of this with confident is because I ended up getting a good score, alhamdulillah. Like I know that this method is going to work. The first few months, go through UWorld very thoroughly. Try to make like flashcards from UWorld if you can, and do it properly. Once you're done with that, then start doing the CMs. CMS फॉर्म्स में आप क्या करते हो? You just like, for example, आपने एक दिन बैठ के internal medicine का एक फॉर्म कर लिया. Once you get done with your sticks, try to solve all the questions. Once you're done like with the questions, then you review the questions. So like एक फॉर्म के अंदर 50 सवाल होते हैं. इंटरनल मेडिसिन के कोई सबके वैसे बहुत ज्यादा है, बट लाइक इंटरनल मेडिसिन के ऑन दैट वेबसाइट फॉर्म नंबर 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 तक अवेलेबल है. सो लाइक 3 to 8, तो 5 फॉर्म इन टोटल. इस तरह हर सब्जेक्ट के, गायनी के भी 5 फॉर्म है, साइड के भी इस तरह है, बहुत सारे सब्जेक्ट के फॉर्म है. सो यू डू ऑल दोस फॉर्म्स, एंड देन once you are done with those forms, like you by the also one more important thing, आपको लगेगा कि when you are doing those forms, you'll realize that these are a lot of questions, because like imagine 50 questions for every like per form, and there are 5 to 6 forms for every subject, and there are 7 to 8 subjects, so that's a total of like 2000 plus questions. So that's like an additional Q bank that you would be solving. So don't get overwhelmed, because a lot of people do not solve all the forms. They only solve aakhir ke form. So from form number 5 to form number 8, आखिर के 3 forms होते हैं जो लोग solve करते हैं, because they are the more recent ones, they are the more important ones, they are the more difficult ones. शुरू के forms are easy. So if you don't want to do them, if you don't have the time, don't do them. It's not going to hurt that much. But do make sure that you do आखिर के forms. What I did was I made a huge mistake. I started शुरू से. तो उससे ये हुआ था कि I kind of ran out of time to do आखिर वाले farms, and I couldn't do, I think like मतलब there are a total of 43 to 44 farms, like subjects combined. I think I did around 38 farms. तो मेरे कुछ रह गए. So just be smart about that. Calculate the time it might take you. Also like just be smart about the time, because आपको नहीं समझ आएगा किन चीजों में कितना time लग रहा है. So make a schedule, write everything down. Oh, it's going to take me this many hours of a day. मैं इतना दिन में पढ़ सकता हूँ. For example, शुरू में I would do one form a day and I'd be like, oh, I'm done. But then I realized that, oh, I'm not done. Then I'd start doing like 2 to 3 forms a day. So that would be like 100 to like 150 questions a day with review. So don't make the same mistake. Just be smart about it from the beginning. कि, oh, you know, like मुझे इतना time लगेगा. अच्छा, CMS फॉर्म्स करने के बाद जो होता है ना, फिर NBMEs आते हैं. NBMEs for step 2 are essential, crucial, like the best resource out there. A lot of my exam questions were NBME questions. And I'm not going to say that they were exactly like NBMEs, but they were testing the same concept as NBMEs, because you world में ना इतना सब कुछ होता है. So you don't really know what's important, what's not important. So आप उसको कैसे कर सकते हो narrow down कि what's important is that do NBME. So you are doing NBMEs, you will realize कि okay, ये topic मैंने U World में देखा, अच्छा ये मैंने नहीं देखा. So the thing is that exams में a lot of topics that are tested, they come from the NBMEs, right? So just make sure that you do the NBMEs properly. How I did my NBMEs was कि मैंने 2 महीने पहले से exam से करना शुरू कर दिए थे. So I would take like one NBME in a day, one NBME a week, sorry. And मैं एक हफ्ते करती थी. Then I would like NBME करने का भी there's a specific तरीका. I don't know how many of you are gonna sit for step 2, लेकिन मैं NBME करने का तरीका बता देती हूँ, because like NBME करने का तरीका is very, like, you should know how it's very crucial. Because in my step 1 I didn't do them properly, and while I was studying for step 2 I realized I should have, because like it didn't like really matter because वो pass fail था whatever, but like I should have done them. So NBME करने का ये तरीका होता है. So there are a total of 4 blocks in every NBME, and each block has 50 questions. So time yourself while you are taking NBME. के मतलब roughly around 5 घंटे में आपका NBME हो जाना चाहिए. So basically the first block, every block is gonna like take you 1 hour 15 minutes. जब NBME करना शुरू करो, सेट करो अपनी घड़ी पे, start doing the NBME, do the questions, make sure there's no distraction, nothing. And but then just make sure that you do that from the first NBME, because the exam that they are giving, it's brutal. Or I'm not just saying this. देखो exam का भी ये है कि there are multiple forms. So some of the exams are easier. For example, मुझसे पहले जिस बंदी ने exam दिया था, her exam was like a lot easier. She came back very happy. I had 2 to 3 massive breakdowns during my exam. I started crying after my second block. I had to take anti-anxiety pills. I was crying the entire time because my exam was brutal. So that can happen to you as well. Especially, I'm talking about the students who will be taking step 2, because it's hard. It's really hard. And I am, alhamdulillah, a good test taker relatively. So I don't know what happened. It was like a very hard exam. So I would say that, just make sure that you time yourself. Even in like my second block, I think I left like 8 questions because I ran out of time, which is like a lot of questions. So make sure you don't make the same mistakes. And step 2 सबका मुश्किल आता है. Normally everyone comes out of step 2 का exam and they think that, oh, I have failed because I generally failed, but alhamdulillah I ended up with a good score. So all I'm going to say is that NBMEs को बहुत अच्छे से करो, because the reason I think I ended up performing well was because I had done NBMEs. तो NBME से ये होता है कि बहुत questions जब आप करते रहते हो ना, for step 2 I did like NBME 10 to all the way to NBME 15. तो तकरीबन 6 NBMEs मैंने in total किए थे, NBME 9 as well, sorry. So like 7 NBMEs मैंने total किए थे. उन NBMEs को, उसमें हर NBME में 200 सवाल थे. उन 200 सवाल को like मैंने जैसे होता नहीं है कि you do them so many times, you know them. So in exam, I think what helped me was that I knew the answers, like, क्योंकि questions were really long. So they were like 15 line के questions. बहुत लंबे लंबे questions थे. So because I kind of like knew what they were asking, like after reading the first few lines, so even though I didn't have the time, I would mark the answer quickly. So I think that reflex I developed because I did NBME like at least twice. मतलब मैंने एक दफा किए थे, and then a few days before my exam I did NBMEs again, like quick revision, not कि मैं बस बैठी रही थी उस पे, but like just revise your NBMEs. So the way you would do NBME is you do like you time yourself, you take an NBME, then spend the next 2-3 days, क्योंकि एक दिन में सिर्फ आप एक ही NBME solve कर सकते हो. जो लोग कहते हैं ना, oh, I'm gonna do the NBME, then I'm gonna review the NBME on the same day. No, you cannot. It is very hard, and शुरू में you cannot. Because it's very hard to like get done with the NBME, और फिर आप किस दिमाग से उस NBME को review करोगे. So NBME के लिए ideally 3 से 4 दिन रखो to review it. शुरू में it's gonna take you more time. In the end, it might take you less time, so a day maybe. So शुरू में the next day you start reviewing your NBME, you do every question, you read the question, then what you do next is that उस question की explanation पढ़ो and then make a PDF for that NBME or yeah a Word document और उसमें लिखो कि okay in NBME 15 in question number 2 this is the mistake that I made, and then write that mistake and find the reason why you made that mistake. Also do that. So it's a lot of hurry, but you have to do that. So in the end you'll have like a document of all your mistakes for NBME, let's say 11, and you review that document before doing the next NBME. ताकि आप next NBME में you don't make the mistakes that you made in the previous NBME. And that's the correct way to do it. Because obviously there are different ways people do it, but this is what I did, and I think, and this was all over Reddit. That's how like students in the US do it. That's how students like in other countries do it, and that's how I did it. And I think that really helped. That's how you're gonna do your NBMEs. NBMEs को मतलब हर हफ्ते में आपने एक किया. It's gonna roughly take you around like 2 months to like get past all your NBMEs, because then there are NBMEs, there are like जो यू वर्ल्ड के एग्जाम्स होते हैं, मुझे इस वक्त दिमाग में बिल्कुल नाम याद नहीं आ रहा, तो इट टेक्स यू दैट लॉन्ग. अच्छा जी, okay, there's one more resource that I would recommend like 120% for a step 2, that is Emboss. I did not do Emboss the entire QBank. So what I did was, because I didn't have like the money to buy Emboss, so what I would do was I would get Emboss ka free subscription. All right, so like I would like so basically what happens is Emboss ka there's this free subscription ka option, and it gives you like a 5 days free subscription on which you can do I think 50-60 questions max. आप इतने ही कर सकते हो. So every day I would get a free subscription from a different account. So I would make like different Gmail IDs and I'd log in and I'd get free for 50-60 questions. I'd solve those questions. That's how I did Emboss ka. But Emboss मैंने पूरा नहीं किया. Emboss का there is a section which is called high yield. It's called high yield step 2 questions. You go through that section, like quality improvement questions. There are like questions on like hospital and this and that, blah, blah, blah. There are different sections of questions. Do them all, and do them twice. I did them twice. I did it them once, like, like 2 months, month and a half before my exam, I before my exam, because वो बहुत crucial है. क्योंकि अब जो मेरा like जो exam था, it was like very heavy, heavily focused on quality improvement questions. It was like, और हम लोगों को नहीं आती वो चीजें, because we are international graduates, we don't know how the system works here. We do not know basic ethic questions, because Pakistan mein, we don't really focus on like ethical scenarios. We don't really focus on QI questions. So the best way to go about that is do emboss. At least do it twice. Like मैं इसलिए कह रही हूँ, because if you are aiming for like anything above 250, anything up to 270, do emboss. Like आप emboss के वो high yield सवाल करो, आप UWorld को अच्छे से एक दफा कर लो. I did not open my UWorld again. I only liked it like the जो उसके tests होते हैं. I took all 3 of them for step 2, but other than that I never opened my UWorld again. So I did it once. I did all the CMS forms. Then after that I started doing my NBMEs. I also did like emboss during the same time, and then a week before my exam I was revising my NBMEs and I was doing emboss at the same time.
Dr.
So I
Maheen,
think ये चीजें हैं.
thank you so much.
Yeah, ये
हाँ
meeting भी
बस
खत्म हो
5
रही है.
minutes रह गए.
So, okay, बस मैं फिर बस खत्म करी. So basically that's how you do it. That's how you do step 1 and step 2 की पढ़ाई. I don't know, मैं step 2 का बहुत कहूँगी कि उसको अच्छे से जाके exam दो, because exam is difficult. A lot of students are failing it or they are ending up with bad scores. So don't make like, so बस उस पे थोड़ा focus करो and get a good score, because it's very like important that you do. क्योंकि यहाँ पे everyone has like a score plus 250. So just make sure that you end up with a decent score. Baki to, yeah, that's that. I don't know if this session was helpful or not, but
नहीं,
if you guys have any
it was
questions,
really
send
helpful. Thank you
send
so
those
much.
Iman, and she's gonna send them to me, and whatever I'm sending it to Iman, she'll basically forward it to your group. Okay?
Really helpful session. Thank you so much, Dr. Maheen.
No worries. All right.
You answered a lot of questions. Yeah.
Okay. Bye bye. Take care, everyone. Good luck.